Tech Talk, be part of it. So let me invite on stage Moab, as usual.
Hello,
Hello,
Luca.
Moab. How are
Ciao.
you?
Fine. How are you?
Fine, thanks. What's up?
So today we have something a bit different. A few weeks back, if you remember, in this series, we have invited all the people behind the program of web security, the web security program, Build It Right, Have a Night. We've heard from our engineers, our heads of department. So we thought, why not invite one of the attendees and listen from him about what he thinks. So we've decided to invite from London, Francesco. He's a senior software engineer at CrowdStrike. Let's invite him on stage.
Hey. Hello,
Hi,
welcome, and thank you very much.
I'm here. Thank you. It was really nice to accept our invitation. And Francesco have wrote us several times asking questions and solving some technical issue. So we asked him to join us today, and he gratefully accepted. So Francesco, let's start with this. Which webinars exactly did you choose to attend in the program?
Yep. Thank you, Mohab, for the question. Yes, I joined 2 webinars out of the 4 technical, if I remember correctly. So I got the security to developers and the security expert to the security expert. I choose these 2 because I think they are the closest to my daily engagement as well, and the tools that we might be using as well in our company.
Okay. Okay. So far we have did 3. Coming up next Tuesday is the 4th. Okay. Let's. Yeah, it's fine. What are the takeaways? Did you have any takeaways? Was the content valuable? Have you really learned something? Have you really seen new things? Or tell us about the takeaways.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I want to say that there was very well organized and structured programs. It was very easy to follow it and to go through the material, while Luca he was actually presenting it, at least for my
Luca Fama. He was one of the presenters, and the 2 programs, the 2 webinars you attended were presented by Luca, incidentally. Okay.
Yeah, by coincidence, perhaps. Exactly. So yeah, I learned quite a few things, especially like in the first one, the security to developers. There were like different exploits and different vulnerabilities that Luca presented. I was very impressed by the libwebp, because we all know in this industry how dangerous it is even today, log4j, and have a very similar vulnerability related to web images and rendering of web images. It's very scary. So I think it's good to build the understanding of how the vulnerability works and how it can be resolved in your environment in a way.
How to be detected and
and the second, like, for the security to developers, instead to the security expert to the security expert, I had like I'm not a DevSecOps person, but I know a little bit of tools that have been used. And in this specific webinar, I think you guys excelled in presenting what are the different tools that can be used in different scenarios, from like a bills of material and like composite software. So while you're building your software, to the static analysis on top of running code and dynamic software analysis. So I think it was very great to present these 3 areas and to go with real examples to each of them. For example, the SemGrep tool that was presented as a static app security. It's something that is super cool. I didn't know it existed, and actually I want to study it a little bit more to perhaps introduce it even in my team.
And you've asked in one of the emails you've wrote us, you've asked about the presentation for the production, which is the DevOps engineer to DevOps engineer, which is something kind of away from your field. But why were you interested in knowing something that isn't really much in your field?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think there are like multiple ways to answer that. One is a bit more personal, and I think one is more as an engineer in the security category. So I will go first with the personal. The personal is that as a person who has interested both in developing coding, secure coding, and DevOps and security practices, I think these 2 webinars gave me a little bit of content that I was more happy to hear about, because it's great to learn. On the other hand, as a professional, I think it's very important to, as for example, like you guys were expressing, the concept of shifting security left. So having, even engineers doing the daily job, understanding and speaking the same language, learning tools that are used by other part of the business. So yeah,
other part of the flow, other part of the software development, like so other part of the flow, not the business, right? Like,
well, yeah, isn't the business in terms of like
the work, the project, yeah.
Engineer business, like not the business model, but mostly like how to implement a solution for specific business in order to be secure, efficient, and and as well meet the security, the business requirements.
This will take me to another question about learning in our field and staying up to date in our field, especially that, as I can see now, you're working from home. Sorintians are working from home. Why you've attended, as we were talking in the backstage, you didn't manage to attend the last 5-10 minutes, but you insisted on attending. Can you tell us, like, how important is learning in our field as skilled people?
Yeah. Well, I think it's not too difficult to understand that if we are not always up to date, or we try to not strive for being up to date, we will be easily, obsolete. Now, I mean, I'm gonna, it's very important for us, as the threat are always improving, like the threat actor as well, are always creating new tools, new techniques, and they're always able to exploit. I think our goal as a security professional is to stop breaches and try to learn as much as possible the ways and the tools we have to go against our threat actor. So I like it to think in a way, and I think it as well, like my idea kind of resonates with the company I'm from. But in general, I really like for us in the security space to be always up to date. Aside of the webinars that I attended with you, I'm also interested in going to in-person meetup. As you said, I work from home, but whenever there is the possibility to meet people in person, yeah, that's a very good chance for me. And as well, there are tons of resources available today, like internet is so great to learn, and a lot of YouTubers, a lot of person like you guys, always there pushing the boundaries. I think it's cool.
Especially for the upcoming generation, which is maybe, I'm sure now there is generations after COVID, they've never attended one day at an office, so they don't have the opportunity to talk with the seniors and understand new things. So attending webinars, totally agree, it's a big opportunity and no one should miss in the technical field, and maybe in other fields, but we're talking about the technical now. That's it. Francesco, you tell me if you have something feedback on in general in this program.
Or before if I can answer, I can ask a question, sorry, because I'm very interested. So we try to put all our effort in providing this webinar with valuable content, because we see, and I want your comment on this, we see or your opinion, a lack of information related to, when we open a new book about how to develop, the quality of development, the agile practices, the how we have to, we don't see any chapter about security in the developer related issue. So we started a conversation a few years ago from our security experts saying, talk with our guys in developing, because there is a hole we have to fill, because there is a lack of information, lack of conversation also. And the webinar is a sort of results of our thoughts about how to put together security and development. But also we asked the developer to talk with the security engineer to understand how, because we want to try to tell to the developer, to the security engineer or security analyst, why we are where we have a team of agile, why we are developing in this way, because the combination of the two. So we have to, this shift security left doesn't mean to put someone from security to at the beginning
within
of
the project.
Yes. But it's the security itself, and the concept of security, the security by design, and all the big vendors are moving in this direction. That is very, very important. I'm very happy to find some value in our webinars, because we put all our effort to try to give this message. And I know your consideration about this, the lack of information in both the fields, and
it is a very interesting space. We're not probably gonna give a solution or like a comprehensive answer to this. I see the same problem, and I can bring only my experience. So take it as my personal comment. I mean, I'm in the situation as you described. Like I was in the situation. I am in the situation you described, of which security became for me more like a concern after accumulating a bit of experience. Like there is no formal, at least when I was studying formally, like in the university degree, there is not that much attention and emphasis put on security, because I believe it's a very fast evolving field. And at the same time, it's very broad, so it's very difficult to really pick like specific use cases that are generally teachable, let's say, to the in the university. That said, I agree with you that this is not an excuse to not think security first. So I saw, and I'm seeing like a shift in the culture in general in our field, in which even thank you to more like automated tool and CI/CD pipelines, we can teach developers like me, for example, to catch exception. Those tools were not available at all when I was studying.
Back at the days.
Like the concept of cloud computing when I was going to the university was still not there. So it's very difficult for companies to imagine of running like very high level and a complex pipeline without a little bit of elasticity, for example, that the cloud today is giving to us. As well, like scanning tools, like even databases today are so much more complex and powerful than MySQL that I just studied at university. So all these tools today are giving us the flexibility and the power to create solutions that might help the security part of it, but it's still like a lot of knowledge to be shared between us. So webinars like this, speak with security person, even having like programs inside the different companies, to either like sponsor like specific trainings, or having like its own like red team, penetration team in a way in your own company, so that you can kind of play these role play games of blue team and red team, in which the developer can really see, oh, I wrote like a code that is now vulnerable. Would help. So that's a very long question, which a very long answer.
It is, and it was covered in the program in a part where we talked academically why this security isn't covered properly, let's say, and Francesco answered in briefly why it's not covered.
Yeah, and also we will go through how is the impact of not having in mind that from the beginning the security will have a business impact, so in a company level impact. So this is very important. What's the impact?
Last thing is, like, as you say, Luca, it's very important because we are seeing more and more European, and not all European, regulations. So now for business is becoming like a liability in a way to abide to these rules. So it's very important.
Correct.
Would like to hear from Francesco. We're running out of time. Briefly, what are the areas of improvement, or what would you like to press? What would you like? Freely, please tell us what's your thought in general to close the day.
For myself, sorry, I didn't get the question.
Yes, in your opinion, if you have anything to add in our program as a feedback.
Your program. No, I think everything is good. Please keep doing it. Keep the community up to date. Actually, I would like to ask if you have more of this series upcoming, and webinars or ways to communicate to people. My only small feedback, if I can give, would be to elicit a bit more in the agenda what will be the topic discussed. I found a little bit difficult at the beginning to choose the webinar because I didn't really understood, aside of the title, what will be the content treated inside the agenda. For example, I'm just taking the first one as an example, the first webinar, security to developers. For example, like having like few bullet points saying, hey, we're going to talk about these vulnerabilities and CI/CD Bible. Yeah, that would be just a little bit more informative because it will show, give a preview of what will be the content. But aside of this, everything perfect. So yeah, thank you guys for
good suggestion. There are other articles, but I want to mention also that we have in floating point some article written by also Luca Fama, and also we added our blog post. So, but we have also Doc 12, that is another
security focused blog.
So those are the two main initiatives that we have, but we will think about how to improve the webinar in the future, and your suggestion is very precious for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francesco. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you continue watching the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
So Moab, you bring us a guest, a special guest, an external one expert. So thank you very much for this.
Thank you, Luca.
So we will see news in a week's time. So this is thank you to everyone for this tech talk, and thank you very much. Bye, Moab.
Bye-bye.
Bye to everyone. See you next time. Ciao.